Hello YouTube, welcome to channel Anna Bella, and today I'm going to be reviewing a Legend of Batman comic collection, volume 4, which is The Faces of Death. I'm not getting every single issue of this collection. I've got 0 Year Part 1 and 0 Year Part 2 for Batman in this collection, and then I've got volume 4, Faces of Death. Because it's a joke, it starts off as a Joker story, but also introduces the Dollmaker as well. There's volume 5, The Dark Knight Returns, volume 6, The Court of Owls. I'm kind of 50-50 on the Court of Owls, to be absolutely honest. But anyway, so here we've got like the subscription and all of that, blah 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 blah, and the stuff that you get, etc etc. And I've done that in my previous reviews. So The Faces of Death, and this is quite cool. Few comic events have been so talked about as the New 52 initiative from DC in 2011, which rebooted their whole line of comics with the aim of creating a more vital universe and providing a great jumping on point for new fans. It's also a more gritty universe as well, one based in violence and reality. This story is basically how the New 52 Joker lost his face, and it was by the Dollmaker. But also it's quite interesting because it's part of the Joker's rebirth, and he mentions it in here. But another thing that this story illustrates really well is the fact that in DC Comics, their plot is not straightforward. It doesn't go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It doesn't follow a linear structure. So it's not got a beginning, middle and end. It can jump anywhere in its timeline, and then it jumps about a bit. And it messes with your head. So even Batman, who's supposed to be the great detective, cough, cough, that's actually Sherlock Holmes, but never mind. In this, it messes with your head because you think this is going to be a Joker story, but then it turns out to be something else. And this is actually a great story because it shows you that the Joker does damage Batman. I mean, he stabs him twice in non-lethal places, but it's still 2 stabs, and they jolly well look like they hurt. Oh, and he also electrocutes him as well with his hand buzzer, which is kind of nice to see that he's still got those gimmicks. See? This will hurt a lot. I know I did. Tonight we will both celebrate our rebirth. And this is the Joker's face that gets cut off by the Dollmaker. And then it isn't really a Joker story. It just sort of explains how Gotham PD end up looking after or babysitting the Joker's face that he had cut off. And you don't actually see him without his face, because he does get his face back, which is kind of really strange. But this is a good story, and it is really well written actually, but it does hop about a bit, it does chop and change, and that's one of the great things about DC. The greatest thing about DC is the fact that it takes gods and makes them human, whereas Marvel takes humans and makes them gods, which is slightly different, and it's also harder to make somebody who already is a god a human, which is one of the reasons why people struggle with DC, I think. And also DC is more gritty and violent, and the plots aren't straightforward. You have to work at them to get them. Look, the penguin! And the fact that you can literally just see one picture from any DC character and go, that's the Penguin, that's Catwoman, that's the Joker, just from looking at them. And I know that's pretty common in comics, but Marvel does tend to have the better plots. But the thing that DC has is all its characters are big, they're archetypes, they're like the original character of this character. So when people think of a superhero, they instantly go, Superman. Batman's difficult to define as a superhero because he doesn't have any superhero powers. In fact, most educational establishments in the UK, when they come to talking about superheroes, actually shove Batman to the side. They don't discuss him because he doesn't fit the mould within English literature of a superhero, which is really, really fascinating considering that he is 75 years old. Whereas Batman's rogues actually fit supervillain. They define that so much. But weirdly enough, again, the Joker is left to the side within English literature because he doesn't fit that mould, because he's not a superhero. Even though it looks like he does have some superhero powers, he doesn't. So Joker and Batman again shoved to the side when they're actually studied, superheroes are studied in school. It's quite interesting from that perspective because they don't fit the mould. Superman is much more appropriate for obvious reasons. Batman just hangs around in Vice. In fact, he's a really, really complicated character to actually study, which makes him a good character to study. But I fully get why in schools they don't, because it's just too complicated and too violent, most likely. But yeah, so this is issue number 4. And I really like this collection because it is just sort of like the New 52 modern stories, which is nice. I get that. I really, really do. But I mean, Batman does have a 75-year history, which is why they've got Eagle Moss have got the other DC comic collection, which I've showed you before. So I will be sort of like hopping in and out from both collections, I think, getting various things. There's also a reason why I didn't get Batman and Damian, Batman and Robin in this collection, because I think I've already got it in the DC comic collection. I didn't get Born to Kill because I've already got that in the DC comic collection, not in the Legends of Batman collection. So this is issue 4. It's a really, really nice hardback book with a lovely, lovely little introduction that sets it up really nicely. And then at the back, you get these wonderful non-coloured illustrations, which I think look quite cool. And if you wanted, you could photocopy them and colour them yourself. And then the next one in part 5, an older Batman in Gotham City on the verge of collapse, is The Dark Knight Returns. And I might get that one. I'm kind of umming and ahhing that, but I actually really like the doll maker and his daughter. It's really, really creepy. And I think it's really cool that the Joker celebrated his rebirth by removing his face. But then again, we never actually see him without his face, because in like Endgame, he's got more of a Jared Leto Joker look. And in, the one where he cuts off all the Bat family's faces, is it Death? Death of the Family? Yeah, Death of the Family. He's wearing his face then, held on. So, hope you enjoyed this review. Please like, comment and subscribe. There's the blurb on the back. There are precious few safe havens in Gotham City for Batman. Branded an outlaw, the police department have been ordered to shoot him on sight, hampering his desperate hunt for a psychopathic criminal called the Dollmaker. The disappearance of the Joker is set to turn public opinion against the Dark Knight, whilst the Penguin is busy assembling a small army of supervillains. If he was in any doubt, Batman is about to be reminded that death has many faces. So this is Detective Comics, #1 to 7. Of the New 52, which is quite cool, because these ones, so this is 21 to 26, and this one is 27, 29 to 33, which is kind of cool. But it's nice to actually have that as a reference. So if you've enjoyed this review, please like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what you think of the collection in the comment box below. Bye!